Hey everyone, this is Kevin Ducey coming back at you with another Top Producer Spotlight. I am super excited to bring on my friend, hustler extraordinaire, author, Mr. Ryan Speltz. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing really good, Kev. Glad to be here. Obviously, have a lot of fun talking to you, and happy to be talking about whiteboard.
Well, that's cool, man. I appreciate it. But tell me a little bit about your business. You're based in Tampa, correct?
St. Petersburg. Don't We're on the other side of the bridge,
My
Kevin.
bad. I got lost there one time
Yes.
and went over that bridge 4 or 5 times one day. That was fun. So,
Yeah. No, it's not a bridge you should go over more than once a week. But yeah, based in St. Petersburg. We have lived here. My wife and I have lived here a little over 4 years now. Bought a house here 3 years ago. We love every bit of it. Being able to, be in the mortgage industry and be remote and work from wherever you want to. Why would you not want to work on the beach? So it's pretty awesome. So we love it. I've got a remote team as well. So that's really nice. Like I have an office that I don't really use all that much. So my team is completely remote. So having the right setup for that is huge as well. Um,
speaking of your team, you've made some investments in 2020 that are probably, I don't want to say abnormal, but a little bit different. Obviously, 2020 has been a fantastic year for the mortgage industry, but you're actually slowing down your process a little bit to speed up, and that's by investing in your team. You want to share with the folks who are watching what you're doing and where you see that leading your business for the end of 2020 and into 2021?
Yeah, so really like when everybody was booming and moving forward, and obviously we have these next level conversations every 2 weeks with our coaches and teammates. It's pretty nice to see the other side and see where everybody's at. So they're like, oh man, we're so busy. And really like early in the year, I was investing in more of the staff and the team. So I struggled to find somebody that clicked with the way that I wanted to do business early on in 2020. Went through a couple of employees and finally found somebody that fits really, really well. And now we've been building around that. I'm up to 3 people on my team plus me. And so we're really just kind of hitting the stride of having a loan process that's set and everybody kind of knows what they're doing now. So we're going to really start throttling up. But throughout the summer, we just kind of took it as it came. And if people reached out to me, because refinances are all over the place, if somebody reached out to me, that was kind of how we got loans in the system. It wasn't me aggressively searching for refis. So it's really just me investing the time and our team investing the time and learning the process now so that when we can take off over the winter. We're going to be stacked up with pre-approvals going into the spring, and we're like next year's going to be fire, and we're going to be really excited when everybody else is taking time off to invest in going and getting more business. So
Well, good for you. One of the things that you were sharing with me earlier that I thought was so unique is how you utilize Facebook and Facebook groups to really generate business. You want to share with the folks who are listening a little bit about how you do that?
yeah, it's definitely one of the pillars of my business is education. They say that 25% of the people that close a loan in 2020 will close their loan with no education and no understanding of how that loan works. And that's not how I do business. So I'm really basing my business on education. I really want these people to understand the financial decisions that they're making. So by utilizing Facebook groups, I'm able to have a collective of people that want to learn about how the mortgage process works, how finances works, how to budget, all of that stuff. So we do a lot of work putting videos, putting topics of conversation, allowing those people to learn how to develop their financial situation. And my biggest success story actually works for me now. So we work together in one of those Facebook groups for a year and a half, getting credit, getting income, getting everything situated for her to buy a house. She bought a house earlier this year and then came on board with me over the summer to work for me. So it's a pretty cool success story with the Facebook groups.
So it's such a unique way that you're doing business, and I think that's awesome to take it from a borrower to an employee. That's awesome. A partner of yours. Now you're utilizing those Facebook groups as your, for lack of a better term, lead generation. So they're coming to you. They're normally coming to you. They're filling out a 1003 on the spot, and so then you're bringing them into your whiteboard, or they're coming into a whiteboard via webhook. Now, what I'm getting at here is normally I don't talk a lot about whiteboard, but I'm going to a little bit with you because you utilize this system in such a unique way. can you share with the folks who are listening and watching here how you utilize whiteboard during that loan process? So like you said, nobody ever has to ask about a status update.
Yep. Yeah. So we have, I use Whiteboard for a ton of external communication to borrowers and agents and builders and whoever's involved in the process. But my success really comes with the internal communication that I've also built out in Whiteboard. So now we've got, when we go to trigger, hey, your loan's approved, everybody sends out that update, right? Like, obviously you want your borrower to know when your loan's approved. But what I have set up in with that is that also goes to our VIP gifting concierge. It also goes to admin assistant. It also goes to processor to let them know to go look for conditions. It also goes to loan partner. So all of that stuff is all tied together, which is amazing for us because we don't have 52 emails flying around that are hand generated. It saves everybody time. And it really is a staple of our success to have that internal communication flowing through Whiteboard. And that's been fun for me to learn because I jump in and build it out myself, and it's a lot of fun. So I enjoy building that stuff.
Yeah, I was going to get at that. You were one of the, I won't say few, but yeah, I'll say it, one of the few clients that when you invested in your coaching calls with our team, you really took the time to say, hey, listen, show me how to do that. Let me learn how to do that. And so now that you've learned how to do it, you're not relying on reaching out to my people on how to set that stuff up. Is that accurate?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And there's still a couple of things that I struggle with in between. And it's just, it's generally as simple as I didn't put the right person in the CC box or something like that, where, it's just something that I triggered out. But yeah, I mean, it's been really great to learn from the Whiteboard team how to do that stuff. And it's cool that you guys allow that kind of interaction or you encourage that kind of interaction versus like, oh, just send it to us, we'll do it. If someone wants to learn, like, you guys put that out there and just walk us through it on how to do it. So,
well, I think that, like anybody else, your ideas come to us at weird times, on how to fix things. I think I get my best ideas in the shower, and the last thing I want to do is like go send an email after a shower. Like, let me sit on my laptop and tinker with it. Let me figure it out. So that's pretty cool that you've taken the bull by the horns there, if you will, and really customized your Whiteboard to work for you. Now tell me a little bit about how you're utilizing not only those Facebook groups, but Whiteboard then to cultivate the relationships with your partners, because you're doing it, I wouldn't say backwards, but not the traditional way, correct?
Yeah. So generally with Whiteboard, all the communication kind of starts at the 1003 phase. So when we pull something in, when it comes over via webhook, we do it automatically, but it's also manually done. So we're doing the manual triggers. There's nothing synced to it to tell it to do that. But the admin assistant jumps in, she sends a trigger, and it sends out communication, like I said, to all of those people, like letting people know that there's a new alert in there. And my favorite part about that is when we can get an agent tied to that person, that agent's getting communication within 15, 20 minutes of their client filling out an application. They know they're being taken care of, and they know that client is being taken care of. And I've actually had a couple wins recently, like 3 days ago. I reached out to an agent who's been struggling with getting responses, and her clients are saying, it's been 3 days, I haven't heard anything. And I mean, I'm able to accurately sell to her, like, that's not going to happen with our team. You will know, and your borrower will know that we received their application, and it may take us 24 hours to get to the application, but there's things for the borrowers to do, upload docs, that kind of stuff. But they've heard from us within hours of filling out that application. And we didn't have to manually do it, right? Like my admin goes in and does it, clicks a couple buttons, and it sends out all these awesome updates to everybody that wants to know that they've been taken care of. So that was a really cool thing to have experience with right before we had this, this conversation. Is like, I've had a couple leads come over from that person. They're like, wow, you're fast. Just something as simple as a quick, like, hey, we got your application. It's a really cool thing to be able to utilize that process.
Yeah, and I think that's setting you up for everything like you talked about moving forward in 2021, establishing that team, being concise and clear with all your communication with your realtor partners. You're going to blow this thing up next year, man. I've always told you were a superstar in the making from the moment I first met you, and you're absolutely killing it. And now you're an author. You wrote a book this past year. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I work a lot with the Facebook groups, and the majority of those are first-time homebuyer groups. I enjoy the education piece, as we talked about. That's one of the pillars of my business. And so, what partners better with saying it than writing a book? So put one together. It's an easy layout for people to understand. They don't have to read it front to back to understand what's going on. There's no like set order of do this, do this, do this. It's just an A through Z guide on different mortgage ideas. So it kind of just breaks down all different pieces. So every chapter starts with a different letter, and it's really easy to follow. It's really nice to use as email follow-up as well, by the way, because I just copy and paste the chapters into email follow-up. So anybody that signs up to get the book will get, over the course of 52 weeks, will get the chapters laid out to them as well. So if they don't want to read it all at once, if they're just like had a great idea, now they get to get it in bite-sized pieces, all through Whiteboard.
So cool, man. So cool. So obviously, someone who is passionate about teaching and coaching is also someone who's passionate about learning. 2020 has been a topsy-turvy year for everybody, whether that be through the pandemic, mortgage rates being at all-time low, you name it. As you're sitting here prepping yourself for 2021 and beyond, if you could sit down with an industry expert or somebody and pick their brain, what kind of questions are you asking, or what are you concerned about, or what are your thoughts moving forward in the next year or so?
So that's a hard question to ask, because we do have access to, in Next Level, we have access to so many industry experts that all I have to do is type that question that I want to ask into a Facebook group and we get an answer. So that's a tough question for me to respond to, because generally I get the answer pretty quickly on that. And having the guidance, I'm on Wes Wyrick's team. Like, Wes, he's a great guy, and I can ask him a question any day or night, like Facebook Messenger, he'll respond almost instantly. So again, tough question to ask. That being said, I would love to get inside Shane Kidwell's whiteboard breakdown and see what he's got going on there, because I know that that's a big project. But yeah, it's really just for me, I like following these guys for their content and being able to kind of get ideas off their content. Like they all say to do is just, when you see something you like, make it your own. And so how would one of them specifically make it their own, really is how I would do that. Because they're just so good at it. And it's just like one of those things that, they probably wouldn't even be able to answer, because it's just who they are, right? Like,
it's funny you go to that, because I think about it as well. Next Level's been such a blessing from a relationship standpoint for all of us that are involved. I think about asking an industry, somebody in the industry, an expert, a question, and I could reach out and call Barry Habib if I wanted to, man. It's like he would answer immediately. I mean, it's first off the type of person he is. It's got no reflection on me. It's more on Next Level and the type of person that Barry is, and the fact that we do have access to those types of guys. And now they started something new, certified mortgage advisors, where Next Level's paired up with MBS Highway and the leaders of that organization. I assume you're a member. I assume you're going through it this year. Is that correct?
I do. Yes, I got our access last week. Like I told you, we were traveling all last week, so I haven't had a chance to dive into any of it, but I'm super excited for that. And we're going on vacation to Puerto Rico this weekend. I know that'll probably be what I'm watching on the beach. So,
hey man, you gotta appreciate the dedication there, especially for a guy who's on vacation every other week. You at least have to do some work. And I'm just teasing, yeah. But it does seem like you are you're living this what I call the dual income, no kid, the dink phase of your life to the fullest, man. Keep doing that.
Yeah, it's been 2020 has been definitely a hard year as far as the other businesses we're involved with my wife and I are involved with, and she's been hustling her butt off too. But now it's been kind of nice to look back and go, man, we went a lot of places that we wouldn't have been able to go. We also couldn't go a lot of places that we wanted to go because of COVID. But yeah, it's been a good year. And like I said, like building the team for me, like this is why I want to build the team, is to get back to that family aspect, right? Like, we're going to have kids within a couple of years. And that's something that's so important for me, is to get this business dialed in, which is another one of those reasons, like we talked about, kind of dialing back the business. For me, that was because I didn't want to work 70 hours a week. And I, being comfortable with that and just being like, this is where we are. That's my favorite saying, by the way. And that's something that like I really want to instill with anybody that's watching this, that if you take away one thing from this, like just you are where you are and it's okay to be there. Like it's not a big deal. Like as long as you're pushing forward and getting better every day, like you're going to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being in the moment either. I think we should cherish that. Sometimes we forget to live those moments in the moment, and just cherish it and put your full focus on what you're doing at that point in time, and be intentional about it. So, hey, like I said, Ryan, I've always been so impressed with you. Even furthermore, today we got to learn about how you're doing things and how you're operating your business and taking a really strategic approach to slow down, to speed up. I talked to you about this earlier, and if folks, if you're listening to this, like CRMs and tools, it doesn't have to be whiteboard, are designed to save you time. To say that you don't have enough time to invest in the CRM or invest in technology is the exact antithesis of what you need to be doing. Mortgage rates aren't always going to be great. There's going to be some rebound from this in some way, some form, and you're going to have to be able to be flexible with your business, and you're going to have your systems tuned in, and you're going to have a team lined up like Ryan's doing to help weather that storm, if you will. So Ryan, once again, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, sir. Keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy Puerto Rico, and I'm sure we'll talk soon, sir.
Sounds good, Kev. Appreciate it.
Thank you, bud.